We go. Hey everybody, welcome back to the 863 Sports Buzz with your host, Donnie Mac and Marshentime, coming at you live again. Talking all kinds of sports tonight. Just doing like a pretty much an extended PITA episode tonight. So we're gonna be enjoying it. We're gonna be talking about some stuff, throwing some questions at each other, enjoying it. Donnie Mac, how you feeling over there, buddy?
I'm feeling pretty good actually. A lot of crazy things happened in football today. A lot of different stuff happened in college football yesterday. We saw a little bit of WNBA championship
We
action.
did.
There's a lot of things going on in the sports world today, but mainly, just football, WNBA action.
Yeah, I mean, we got about the playoffs, man. Major League
Even
Baseball
playoffs, yeah.
playoffs, you know? I mean, come
I
on,
mean, I
man.
mean, yeah, we still got Major League Baseball playoffs. I mean, 1 and 2 kicked off,
Can't
so
be talking about that,
uh,
you know? Division rounds
Got to
starting off.
talk about that too. That's definitely something we will do.
Of course. So, what you want to start off with, man? You feeling good? What do you feel? What do you feel like talking about first?
First of all, let's kick off a little bit of college football, man.
College football. I
Co-
like it. I like it.
College football, Red River rivalry,
Yeah.
Texas,
Tongue twister.
Oklahoma. Texas ranked number 3, Oklahoma number 12. Big touted game last year. Oklahoma got knocked out. I
They
mean,
got
just
stomped.
basically they were shut out 49
Yeah, I
nothing.
mean, it
Um,
was bad. It
come
was
back
bad.
this year. They wasn't supposed to win this game. Ewers at quarterback for Texas. They just beat
Yeah.
Alabama, Oklahoma. They're still a Big 12 team, Cody. Still a Big 12 team. They cannot be
True.
counted out. What's your thoughts on that? What do you?
Listen, man.
I mean, what's your
Oklahoma
thought?
came and showed up, and I have a very close friend who's a Texas fan, and I had to call him and give him a checkup, right at the end of the game, because when Oklahoma made that final touchdown, it was kind of crazy, So it was kind of cool to watch that last second play. There were a lot of last second plays to win games though this week.
A
It's
lot,
kind of
a
crazy,
lot,
man. I mean, a lot
a
of
lot.
some
Hey,
bonehead
let me
moves
throw
made
another
by
one.
some teams, and.
Now let me ask you your thoughts on this. Now, number one, they had to take on Ohio State, ranked as a top 10 team, top 25 team in the
Mm,
AP coaches poll. Then they came back and had to take on an undefeated Duke team out of the ACC, and then they have to go again on the road and take on Louisville, undefeated, and the ACC. We talked about the ACC being a very powerful conference, man. What are your
very true.
thoughts on that? Tell me. Does Notre Dame now get set down out of your mind, off of your schedule because they got a loss to Ohio State Buckeyes, which none under Ohio State Buckeyes played an undefeated Maryland team and pretty much wiped the slate with them after the
Well, let's
second half.
not. I was about to say in the second half they started pulling
It,
away, but that first
yeah,
half
and
they
in the
struggled
second,
very badly.
they
They
sure
have
did.
got to figure out their running game. Their running game is non-existent,
Yeah.
and I think it's
And
just
that's
been
a
kind of
staple
tired.
for Ohio.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, man. I'm telling you, you guys better be careful when you guys start playing some stronger teams. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the ACC though is looking so strong. I mean, yeah, Notre Dame. Technically they're not even in ACC though. They started falling off, but Louisville, man, I'm telling you, this team looks unstoppable. And North Carolina
That
looking
defense,
awesome, looking strong.
that
Of course,
and
Florida
you
State
know,
looking strong.
yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, Voltech is no fluke, man. Voltech is always a staple in the ACC, and they were a very good football team. Florida State didn't look like they struggled against Voltech.
No, I mean,
Voltech, they really didn't.
the second half, the kickoff return, which made it look a little bit closer than what it was, but it was a kickoff return touchdown. I mean, what do you expect? That happens every once in a while. Get over it. It's not that big of a deal. Because right
Yeah.
after Florida State scored two plays after touchdown. I mean, it wasn't like it took long. I hope Johnny Wilson does come back though for Florida State because that is a little sketchy, a little scary. Because he is a
Yes.
big receiver for them.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit of SEC.
Okay,
LSU
okay.
pulling one out against Mizzou.
Yeah,
That
that is
that was
definitely
a
the
heck
right
of a
word
game.
for it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they
the
pulled
end of
one
the
out,
game,
and they pulled it out by
the pick
10
six.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, the pick six kind of skews
cushioned it.
that a little bit,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they
it
really
did.
won
It
by
cushioned
three.
it.
Let's be honest, they won by three, and then they got that last
You're
second
right.
that won the game.
It cushioned it, but You're talking about a game and just a juggernaut of the LSU. I did not think they were going to win that game. I did not think they were.
Listen, they've been on and off. It seems like LSU seems to have a good week and then they come back and then they struggle, and then they have a good week and they struggle again. They're not a well-oiled machine like they normally are. I don't know if that has
I would
something to do with
agree
the
with that.
coach. Who knows? But
Yeah.
we'll see how they keep going in the SEC because the SEC is still a strong conference. Do I think they're the best conference anymore? No, not by far.
Well,
Georgia though, Georgia looks pretty strong again against
I
Kentucky.
was going to say Kentucky is not a team that I would just brush to the back burner, but Georgia looked like that's
That's what
exactly
they
what they
did.
did.
They
That's
just pushed them
exactly
out.
what they did. Look, man, this is the way you play football in the SEC conference. Bam.
Yeah, and I don't see anybody putting up a real fight against Georgia until the SEC championship game. So
Yeah.
they have a very favorable schedule. So expect to see Georgia in the SEC championship. We'll see who they play and see how real of a team they are. Because Kentucky's not a bad team, but Kentucky's also a little bit overrated. I think because of how they beat Florida, and Florida's definitely was overrated. No offense.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And going back to the Big Ten and Ohio State, we're going to see what they're made of too. Because
Of course.
listen to this. Listen to I'm an Ohio State. Listen
Oh
to
yeah,
this.
I know.
Ohio
I know. I'm
State
sorry.
just had to play these last 2-3 games that they had to play. Not only that, they have to play a Penn State next week that is undefeated,
Mm,
coming off a rest week. They just came off a rest
yeah.
week. They had 2 weeks to prepare for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they're in Penn State Stadium. That's a hard place to play.
Always, man. That's gonna be a good game. Nifty Lions,
So that's
Buckeyes. Here
gonna
we go.
that hey, here we go. That's a big showdown in the Big Ten, and the same goes for the FCC and the ACC next week going on. But let me ask you something right. You fan, you're from South
Mm-hmm.
Florida. Your brother
I am. I
Aces
am.
High. This is for you, Aces High, bro. Miami. What the heck?
Dude, you joke about it. You brought him in. You brought Aces up. And I was actually talking to him that night because he's a huge Hurricane fan. He's always been a Hurricane fan.
Oh my
And
gosh, what happened, dude?
I was messaging
How
him, dude.
dumb.
I'm like, what is wrong with your coaches? Knee the ball. That's all you have to do is hike the ball, take a knee. You win the game.
Come
What
on.
in God's green earth wants you to hand the ball off to get 3 yards for no reason?
Listen.
What is wrong with you?
If Bill Parcells or Bill Belichick watch this,
Oh,
they got a few more ball patches in
dude.
their head. They
I,
had,
I was
oh
tearing
my
my own
gosh.
hair out, and I'm a
Oh
Florida
my
State
God.
fan.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm like, I get the old school football toughness. I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah, that's
You
great.
don't
That's great.
you remember Beanie Wells against Penn State
Mm.
way back in the Big
Yeah.
Ten. Hey, they did the same thing. All they had to do is kneel on the ball. They gave it to him. He tried to bounce it outside. Boom, they punched the ball out, fumble. Game over. Penn State wins. That's just football, man. You kneel on the ball when you have to or when you can. Just when
They
you
have
can.
victory formation for a reason.
Oh my
Use it.
gosh.
You had the victory. It was 36 seconds left on the clock. You take the knee. You don't have to worry. You don't even have to worry about taking another play. There's no reason
I'm
for it.
sorry.
What happened to your defense?
Well, not only that, Cody,
Give
would
them the
it,
field goal. Like you just all you have to do is stand at the end zone and not let them in.
as an AP bowl rep and you got clout and you got a vote, are you putting Miami back up there again? No.
Miami's out
Before
of the top
this game,
25. Yeah, they're done. They're out of the top 25.
Before this game, you were. If they win that game, okay, you understand it's a hard fought battle, conference battle, whatever.
Yeah,
But
you keep them in. And then
but
now
after
they have to
something
go,
like
and now
that,
they have to
no,
go to North Carolina.
no, yeah,
They're gonna lose this next
exactly.
game.
Now, if they do
I'm
win this
disappointed.
next game, they have a shot at getting back in there.
Mm.
After 2 losses, it's hard. Look at LSU.
Listen, man, I was excited. I wanted Florida State and Miami back in this top 10 rivalry, top 15 rivalry. I wanted this big matchup. I love when Florida State and Miami are both doing well and they're playing each other, and it's always exciting for that game. Now, I don't know if I can even. I mean, Van Dyke looked horrible this whole game.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I will say this though. That another thing that Miami has is the teams they're playing in the conference they're in. They got to play a lot of ranked teams and a lot of really big teams. If they can right whatever they got wrong, which I don't think they will, after a coaching blunder like that against a team like that, and you don't win a game like that, I don't think they will. But I'm just saying, in their behalf, in the long run, they play a lot of reputable teams that could catapult their rep back up into the top 25.
Oh, I mean, they could, and
They're not
I hope they
I
do.
mean,
I
they're not
really
going to
do.
be playoff eligible.
No,
They're not,
they're not making
unless they
playoffs.
beat
They're not.
Florida State, Louisville, and they win against North Carolina next week.
Even then,
They got to run the table.
they're still not making it. They're still not getting there. They're not.
Yeah, I
They
don't think
deserve
they
it.
will neither.
Losing to
I
Georgia
really
Tech,
don't.
who was a 4 team, I think 2-3.
Yeah,
2-3.
Yeah, 2-3.
And now they're 3-3 because
Yeah,
the
because
dumbest coach
because they
call
play.
I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I was literally.
Hey.
I came home. I was playing a pool tournament last night. I came home early to watch the end of the game, and I'm just sitting there in disbelief. I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Like,
So did you win your pool?
I actually left early. I gave my game up and just said I'm going home and watch the Super Bowl.
One of those nights, right? One of
Yeah, I
those
mean,
nights.
I literally gave up my match to the next match. I'm like, listen, guys, I want to go home and I want to go watch some football, so I went home and watched football. It was more fun.
I'm with you on that one.
know? So we talked about some college football. Is there anything else in college that you've seen that you want to talk about? I mean, there's some exciting things happen, but it's some dumb.
I can't really think. I can't really think. Colorado did pull off a game winner. They got them another win. I got to give them some rep because they've been a big talk. The nation loves Colorado for rightful so. They won one game last year. They
I don't
won.
know if they like them or they hate them. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, you know what?
Where you're going
TCU
on that.
lost to another team that wasn't very good. Iowa State. I mean, I think Iowa State beat TCU. I mean, Iowa State used to be a reputable team, but TCU is under the table. So, as far as college football goes, a good one between Texas A&M, Alabama. Got to mention that out there.
Yeah.
Closer
than I thought it would be.
Michigan ran over, no doubt, did what they was supposed to do. And I haven't yet seen them play anybody. Nobody yet, Marshentime. And I don't see nobody for the next 3 weeks. As far as college football goes, I'm pretty satisfied what I saw what happened this past week of college football. It looked like college football to me.
No, I mean, exactly. It was it was exciting. There were some good games on that. I was happy to watch, and I was kind of, waiting for some more. But, then the NFL came on Sunday. Of course, again, we woke up early, man.
Okay. Exactly. We woke up early again on Sunday. But let me ask you this before we move on. I know we're...
All right.
Biggest surprise to you over the college football weekend? Give me that before we move on.
I don't think there's any other thing that you can say other than Louisville is 6-0, man.
Yeah, exactly.
They're dominating teams. They're not winning by a little. They're dominating teams. The defense
let me remind you,
the offense is putting up points.
Now that you say that, though, let me remind you the 2 quarterbacks that came from there, Lamar Jackson being one of them.
I don't know that guy. I've never heard of him before.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson being one of them. Oh, who was the other guy? He was really darn good, too.
I don't know.
What the heck was his guy? You're right. They were 2 first rounders, okay? 2 first rounders, those quarterbacks. They also had 2 second rounders from Louisville too. So on to early game, 9:30, kicking it off in London. The Buffalo Bills went to the Jacksonville Jaguars home field, Marshentime.
I'm telling you, Jacksonville just needs to stay over there, man.
They're camping out in London. They've been there for the last 2 weeks, even against our Toy Story game. Against Atlanta, they won that game. Bills come over there, and the Jacksonville Jaguars put that defense on them, man. They put that defense on them in London.
Jacksonville just needs to stay in London. Like they're dominating in London, man. They come back home and they're going to lose again, I feel like. So just stay over there.
Buffalo Bills, they came in with Stephon Diggs, and Jacksonville said, you know what? You got Stephon Diggs. We got Calvin. Watch this guy and watch what he can do. He had
Listen,
seven
man.
for a buck 22.
Yeah,
That
but
guy was
Stephon Diggs
showing
still
out
had a pretty
today.
good game too. So
He did. He had a pretty good game, and so did Josh Allen. He only
yeah,
threw one pick. He threw for 359 yards throughout the
yeah, had
afternoon,
three
and it might have
touchdowns.
been, yeah, it might have been more. Yeah, and he had three touchdowns. He still scored high on the fantasy spectrum, and I'm not
Yeah,
taking that
28.
away. But in a crucial time of the game, they could not pull it off. Once again, they could not pull it off. Once again, that defense came through. They could not do it at a crucial time when it came down to it. Now, I will attribute this to and I do call a London game for the Jacksonville Jaguars a home game. They played 12
100%
games
it
there
is.
so far, and they've been there for the last 2 weeks. They didn't have to come home.
That's
The
what I
Bills
think is
just
the huge thing, man.
the Bills just got off the plane. You know what I mean? That jet lag, you're traveling, 16 different time zones. I don't know how many it is. Don't quote
That's a
me on
lot. I
that.
don't know what it
Uh,
is, but it's a lot.
it's a get 3 days to practice. As soon as the Jacksonville Jaguars got done celebrating that night beating Atlanta, they could go back onto the practice fields
They didn't have
because
to
of
worry
Khan,
about it.
the owner, and they didn't have to worry about it. And everybody there loves them. You could spot 19 different jerseys in the London seats, but there's one predominant jersey you're going to see, and that's the Jacksonville
Well,
Jaguars.
there's also a lot of Dolphin ones out there too. Have you ever noticed that? The
Yeah,
Dolphins are a
Dolphins
huge team
played
in
there.
London,
They played there about 4 or 5 times.
and we're going to Germany this year. So
They're
excited
going to
see that one,
Germany this year too.
Excited to see that.
So that a
It's the
surprise
huge
to you,
team.
or did I nail that? Did I nail
The
that?
NFL scheduling, though, I'm sorry, you're leaving Jacksonville out there. You're kind of leaving Buffalo out to dry with that matchup.
Okay.
You're making them travel all the way over there after a
Eh?
Sunday football
That's
game against the Miami Dolphins, a division rival. And then they're having to travel, and then Matt Milano getting hurt. That killed the Bills, though. That changed their
That was
whole
a huge.
defense. That dude is a beast of a linebacker, and I'm so sorry for him. I hope he gets better. But
That's the run
that's gonna
stuffer,
hurt
man.
them really bad.
Really
It's gonna hurt
bad.
Buffalo
Yeah.
really bad. So, and I think that had a lot to do with their defense because he's the leader of their defense. He's the one
Yeah,
who's
I don't
leads them,
think.
he's the captain. He's the one who makes the
Yeah.
plays and everything. That hurts.
Yeah, he's the Mike. He's the Mike linebacker, and he is the run stuffer. He knows what's going on. He's leading that defense in the middle
Yeah.
of the field, and that's a big deal for Buffalo because they do have a fast defense. They have a really, and he
They
was a
do.
part of that fast defense.
And that hurt. That's going to hurt Buffalo in the long run to me. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
kind of
big
going
deal.
to. I want to see how that goes. But with their loss, the Dolphins take over number one in the AFC East again. And while we're in the
That they
AFC
do.
East, while we're in the AFC East, though, we got to talk about another team in the AFC East who absolutely put up a goose egg.
And you know what? That was pretty shocking to me. I'll say this, and I'll admit this right here on 863 Sports Buzz podcast. And
What's he
I
admit?
know you didn't take them. I took New England to win this game. I took New England
No, I did
to win
not.
this game.
I
I know you
not.
didn't.
I was not.
I
taking
know
it.
you
Yeah.
didn't. And you know what? That defense in New Orleans stepped up and did exactly what we said they were going to do
They
in
did. They
Marshentime.
did.
And why I didn't believe that with
Listen,
Mac
man.
Jones at quarterback, oh my God, dude. I don't know. I thought the home game, but being blown out by a horrible team last week, I thought New England thought, I just thought Belichick was better
That's
than
what.
this.
So
I
here's my
just thought.
question for this match, for you. All right, we're talking Bill Belichick. He's had a couple years past Tom Brady. Do you think Tom Brady made Bill Belichick?
I think timing was a big deal for Belichick and Brady. I really do. I think timing was a huge deal for them. I
I'm just
really
saying,
do.
It's Bill Belichick's not looking as good, since Brady left.
No,
he's been kind of struggling.
When I say timing, you got to think about the defense that Bill Belichick was able to shape. That Belichick, when he come into the New England Patriots, Marshentime was a defensive-minded coach. When he got Tom Brady and he had his offensive coordinator, we all know who he is. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer. He took over a couple of NFL teams, Mike Shanahan, and Kyle Shanahan
Yeah,
was a.
He's
I
pretty
mean,
good offensive coordinator. Pretty good.
he's pretty good at what he does. And when Tom Brady came in, look at the defense Belichick had at the same time. He had a Rodney Harrison, he had a Junior Seau, he had
Yeah,
all
Vince
these
Wilfork. He
really
had all
big
of them.
stuff. Vince Wilfork. I mean, he had all these defensive players that really the Super Bowl runs they made. When you couple that in with an offensive coordinator like that and a blessing like Tom Brady, I'm saying timing. Timing. I think, yes, long story, Marshentime, long story, your question. I think that Tom Brady, yes, did help make Bill Belichick. Was he the
Okay.
only
Okay.
part? No. I think those other stars on defense are a big part of that, too.
All right. I just wanted to throw it out there. Because it's looking like Belichick isn't as great a head coach as everybody says he was. I mean, don't get me
Well,
wrong. I
no,
think
I
he's still a
don't.
good head coach. I don't think he's the greatest head coach of all time, like people say he is. I really don't.
Well, I think it's more of a Robert Kraft, willing to spend that money to get the players there. He got Wes Welker there. He got
True.
Edelman there.
True.
He chased all these big stars. Randy Moss.
Brought
He
Randy
chased
Moss. Yeah.
it. Yeah, he chased these guys and he got them there. He went and got Darrell Rivas. You remember that?
True. Yeah, from the Jets.
He's the driving force behind that. And now that we're talking about owners, let me throw this at you right now.
Okay. Okay.
Magic Johnson, he's now owner of the Washington Commanders, which I think are going to go
Yes.
now.
Yes.
I think now under that partial ownership, I think he might give in and they might go back to the Redskins. I hope they do because I really hope they do. And beyond a political view, but do you think that now he didn't hire Ron Rivera? He went to Twitter and he's putting out these things out there on Twitter, and a lot of people are analysts on that. Do you think Ron Rivera is now going on the hot seat? Not only that, Jack Del Rio as the defensive coordinator, they are giving up astronomical amount of points and yards on defense.
Yeah, and it was against a team that was supposed to be one of the weaker teams in the NFL, against the Chicago Bears, and they absolutely
I have a problem with that.
massacred. And Ron Rivera needs to figure out something that, I mean, don't get me wrong, Sam Howell is not a franchise quarterback, obviously, and they don't really have a running back, and they don't really have the craziest receivers. I mean, all they have is really Terry McLaurin, and he's not like he's a. I don't see him as a receiver one on any decent team.
Yeah, but let me pitch this at you, Marshentime. Even not a receiver one, he's the best you got. Okay, so
100%.
from 9 minutes to go in the second half, they're down by 2.5 scores. I get you got to pass the ball and be aggressive, whatever. But for the next 55 plays, they were all pass plays. Do you know how many of them went to that guy?
I think one.
5.
Wasn't it? 5.
5. It was 5
Yeah.
out of 55. You're throwing it. Who the hell are you throwing it to if you're not throwing it to him?
Yeah. No, I mean, listen. I'm not saying anything because I'm not. I think Washington has a lot to work on, but I don't know if it's all his. I don't know if Ron Rivera can do anything with what he has.
Now, let me ask you this: Ron Rivera, we know, is a big defensive coach. He's the big.
Yes.
Does he take over signal calling on the defense from Jack Del Rio now to save his job, or does he continue to go on this hot seat? Because I think he's on a hot seat.
Yeah, I mean, I can believe that and I can see it. Jack Del Rio, though, he's supposed to be a better defensive coordinator. I mean, he's supposed to be there. But again, who does he have to work with?
Exactly.
Do you know anybody on the Washington Redskins or Washington Commanders defense?
I can't
I
say
don't
that
know
I have,
anybody.
but they've got a lot of interceptions in that secondary only because
I'm
they've been
sorry.
backed up against the horn and a lot of shootout
that
games.
doesn't
You
mean
know.
anything. That means zero. Because you know what? Just because you're intercepting the ball doesn't mean you can't do anything. Because it's bend but no break. That's I just don't see it right now. I don't see it.
And not
There's
only
no
that, I'm
playmakers on that defense.
I'm almost certain the Washington Commanders offensive line has given up the most sacks in the league.
I think the Giants got you beat there, buddy.
Well,
Giants
maybe
have given
after
up a lot.
maybe after this evening's game, because I believe they had 6 on him when I stopped watching that game. They had 6 sacks on him. So Maybe after this game, the Giants took over, but the Commanders up until that point, they had the league leading, giving up the most. So,
Yeah,
and
I
you're
cover
putting that
that.
kind of pressure on that quarterback like that. Daniel Jones just went out too. Now that we're talking about the
He did.
Giants, he went out. He went out with an injury. Is that significant to you, or they have a whole lot more going on than just
Yeah,
Daniel Jones?
they're the Giants are that has nothing to do with anything.
After
You
11
know, I
sacks
mean,
last week,
yeah, they have Daniel Jones has. I mean, don't get me wrong, Daniel Jones has become scared to throw the ball, but I would be scared to throw the ball in that team too. Because guess what? Every time I drop back, the guy's already at my feet, and he can't do anything about it.
I'm
There's just
saying,
nothing he can
I'm
do.
saying,
I
I
mean,
I
I'm sorry. I
watched
mean,
a.
don't get me wrong, he's not a good quarterback, but
Uh,
I'm sorry, he's
he's a
pass rush to me.
horrible quarterback. I think he gets a bad. He's under pressure a lot this season. Last season,
Yeah.
look at the end of the season, he had a big part of their playoff run, man. Saquon
Well,
Barkley was there and he was healthy. That was a big deal. Their defense came through in clutch times, which we know the New York Giants they've got a knack of doing in the playoffs. But this off last year, I watched a program on NFL Live that out of those 11 sacks, they pointed out only six Jones' fault. And those six were his fault because he was trying to get away from the rest of the pressure. And he
yeah.
should have got rid
Listen,
of the ball. He collapsed on it. That's still a lot. I'm not defending him in that reason, but I'm just saying not all of them were his fault.
yeah, no, and I'm not saying that he's all to blame for it all. But the Giants are done. Like there's something wrong with their team that they got to figure something out. They got to get some new bodies in the offensive line. They have to figure out something because right
Yeah,
now they
they
look
do.
and their defense looked atrocious. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were
Yeah.
playing the Miami Dolphins who have a crazy offense, but every offense they've played, they've gotten destroyed. I mean, to be fair, the Giants have played some of the toughest schedule right now to start off the schedules.
And
I mean, they started
the
off with
Giants,
Dallas, they played San Fran, they
yeah.
played Miami. That's three really tough offenses to play.
And you're talking about tough offenses, uh, just that juggernaut of a schedule. Yeah, when you that's what you deal with. The NFL puts you up against the best teams next year. That's what they do. Look at the San Francisco 49ers, Cincinnati Bengals, Kansas City Chiefs. They got to do the same thing. No, nobody gets an exemption to that. They saw the same thing coming from the Miami Dolphins. The Jets just happened to get Aaron Rodgers up front there, and now they got a really good defense. That's all they got. Let's talk about that. The schedule, a team with a big schedule coming up, Cincinnati Bengals, they got a huge schedule coming up. And we're going to stay in this division afterwards. We're going to talk about Baltimore, Pittsburgh still. But the Cincinnati Bengals, when they're playing Arizona, going into Arizona, they struggled a little bit. But my boy, Jamar Chase, had 15 for 192 and three grabs. What is your take from this game? What do you
Listen,
what do you
man,
take
you
from
see,
this game?
it's on my board right there. Jamar Chase is a beast of a receiver. I mean, he's a top three receiver in the NFL.
Yeah,
Justin
yeah, he
Jefferson,
is.
Tyreek Hill, and Jamar Chase are the top three receivers in the NFL. Devontae Adams could be there, but I put him a little bit outside of that. Those three are just insane, man. But Joe Burrow looked like Joe Burrow finally. He finally looked like what he got paid for to do. Now,
Okay.
again, this is against the Arizona Cardinals, who also
This is the
gave up
same Cardinal.
31 points to Daniel Jones.
This same Cardinals that also beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Listen, they gave up 31 points to Daniel Jones
That they
in
did.
one half.
They were a 2-2 Cardinals team. They were very
I'm
competitive though.
just saying, let's not overreact here. Wait
Let's
till
not.
let's wait till Cincinnati plays
Let's
somebody
not.
else and play somebody stronger, and see how Joe
Now,
Burrow and Jamar Chase do. Don't get me wrong, they
when
looked great, and I'm hoping that they're back on their thing. Help my playoff preseason thing look a little bit better right now because it's not looking the greatest right now. But let's just hope they kind of pick up their pace.
okay, two things for you. Before this game took place, Jamar Chase was on record. He had an interview saying he was always bleeping open. Do you think that had an effect on this game and what happened in this game with him getting 15 grabs, 192 yards, three touchdowns, and also Joe Burrow was asked, "This is a must-win game. Do you
Mm,
believe?" And he said it without hesitation. Yes, it was,
yeah.
because of the team they were playing. Do you believe both of those things had an impact on this game, or do you think they just played out the way they should have?
This is the Cincinnati Bengals team that should have started the season. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they have a great offensive team. There's no reason they shouldn't be putting up these points. And I don't know why they're not putting up these points. This is finally Cincinnati woke up. And I think that's what they needed to do. And, maybe they needed a little pressure on them to do it. And, hopefully it does bring them together. Jamar Chase, to be fair, if you throw it up to him, he's probably going to go catch the ball.
Yeah, he's
I
going to
mean,
go get it, dude.
I'm just saying. So
I,
he's kind of right
I
that he's always open.
Yeah, yeah. When he voiced it, Joe Burrow just dropped his whole calf injury deal, which I thought was suspect. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he just felt he wasn't ready. He was using it as an excuse. I don't like that whole deal. He wasn't even on the injury report time. That's kind of weird. That's suspect. But before I do move on to the other AFC match, how do you feel that your Dolphins actually with the Giants? Were they supposed to do that? A-Chan? Huh?
Dude,
A-Chan?
Achan is a freaking monster. And he's quick.
Man.
He's a speed demon. I'm telling you, man, this whole team is speed, 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 and more speed. That's all they are. The top eight, the fastest eight plays in the NFL right now are all owned by the Miami Dolphins this season.
Yeah.
That's
And that's why.
crazy.
That's
Like,
why. And you
Tyreek Hill, Achan, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, they're all fast. And as you said, Tyreek Hill said there's somebody on the practice squad that he won't challenge to a race.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. And now we have Chase Claypool.
I was going to say, how
Man,
you feel about adding Chase Claypool to
whew.
that?
Listen, man. There is not a receiving
Now,
core in the NFL that is even close to the Dolphins.
you know what I want? I'm trying to tell you, they're the fastest team on grass. That still stands.
It's not even close, yeah.
What happened with Buffalo, Miami will learn. At the end of the season, when it actually is going to count for seeding, we're going to find out what kind of teams we're going to be playing with. And that's not a definitive answer who's going to win in the playoffs if they have to play one another in playoffs. But defense, Jalen Ramsey's got a shot at coming back in the playoffs. I
Oh, yeah,
think
he'll be
that's
back.
a big deal.
They're talking about at the end of the season. They're talking about bringing him back.
Yeah,
And Jalen Phillips will be healthy because Jalen Phillips wasn't there for the Bills game. Jalen Phillips is a huge thing to have on the other side of Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb and
yeah.
Jalen Phillips on the two edges
I'm
freeze
trying to
up
tell you.
each other so well.
I'm trying to tell.
And then you got
Right.
Wilkins and Ogba in the middle. That's a defense to be reckoned with, but they got to stay healthy. And once Jalen Ramsey comes back, and we got Nick Needham coming back now, so we're kind of getting healthy again. By the end of this year, the Miami Dolphins could be a very, very scary, scary team, and I'm
They
excited.
could be a
I just hope
very
it works
dangerous
out.
team. They could be a very bit dangerous. As long as they stay healthy, they do what they got to do, keep protecting their quarterback.
Knock on wood.
Even though they lost one, but you know what? Tua hasn't been on his back a whole lot. He hasn't been thumped on his head a whole lot.
No,
There's not. Josh Allen got away with one today in London too. He got away with a very tedious roughing the passer call today. I didn't like that from the NFL, but I understood why they did it because it was a shot to the face mask. They're trying to protect their quarterbacks. That's why we all go see this game. That's why we buy tickets to see this game because of
yeah.
those quarterbacks make it fun and exciting. I understand that, but he got away with a good one today. I'm going to move on to the next teams in the AFC North. We got to talk about this. Perry Daniel, this is for you, asshole.
Oh gosh, we're
Pittsburgh
going on the
Steelers,
Pittsburgh
Baltimore
game.
Ravens.
Get out of here,
What
man.
happened? What happened with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens?
Listen, Lamar Jackson just
It's his-
can't beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's all it is. Lamar
Is that
Jackson
what it
has
is?
always struggled against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's always struggled against them. I don't know if it's something that Mike Tomlin has cooked up for him or something, but Lamar Jackson just struggles against the Steelers. And my
Yeah,
buddy
they
said it right
struggle.
out the
Yeah.
bat. He said, Lamar doesn't beat us very often. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Lamar doesn't really beat you. I figured
I
Lamar
will
would
point
come in and
out.
win that game, but it's not their offense. Pittsburgh's offense is still atrocious.
Yeah,
You know.
I didn't. I don't. I don't think with their running back situation, I didn't think it was going to be a good offense. They got lucky at the end of this game with George
Mm-hmm.
Pickens hooking up, hooking up downfields. And I wanted to point out with the Pittsburgh Steelers helmet you got behind you there. That is a Heinz Ward sign helmet, right?
It is. It is Heinz Ward.
Okay, is that the only reason you got it back there? Are you still kind of upset with Baltimore Ravens losing this game, or are you glad that Pittsburgh and T.J.
Listen,
Watt
man.
at the end of this game, when it was important, T.J. Watt came through as a defensive leader and he got the final sack at the end of this game? Is that a big deal for you? Is
Listen,
that a statement for TJ?
listen. T.J. Watt's one of the best players in the NFL. He is probably the top two defensive end in the NFL. Just saying. Now, do I like the Steelers? Yeah, I like the Steelers, but don't get me wrong. Do I care if the Steelers beat the Ravens? No, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I like the old Steelers nose football teams. You know, they
Yeah.
were gonna hit you. They were gonna, they were gonna take hits, and they're gonna dish them back. I love that about Heinz Ward. He was the biggest dude, but let me tell you something. He gonna knock you on your butt if you're trying to tackle him, and he
Yeah.
gonna make it look awesome doing it.
And he liked to play special teams too, just so he can get a
Yeah,
few hits
man.
in.
I'm telling you, and that's
Hey,
what I love
even
about
at
Heinz Ward. Heinz Ward was just
even at his
insane.
old, that's what I like about Steve Smith out of Carolina too. He was
Yes,
very good at that.
little Steve
When,
Smith. Yep.
even when he went to Baltimore, he was the same way, man. He had the
Mm-hmm.
same fire under his skin. So where are we going? What game we going after this, man? We're going to the Kansas City game and how they
Yeah, no,
played against Minnesota.
those were okay games, but I think we got to talk about the one major game going on right now.
Let's talk about it. What's
You
the
know,
score?
we got
Did
to
they
talk about it. They kicked off. San Fran walked down and scored the first touchdown right off the bat, 7-0. So
Okay.
7-0 right now. San Fran scored.
So San
What do you
Fran
think
and
about this game?
Dallas. Wow. What I think about this game is it's a highly touted NFC battle that we're going to see again. I hope we see it again.
I feel like
This
they're
is
going to in the playoffs.
this is an early season battle with this one. The same what I thought and we're moving on to this game. Same I thought you were going to go on to this game with Philly and the Los Angeles Rams. That is a very good, intriguing matchup later on in
It
this
was a
year
good game.
too.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Coupled with these two teams where we're talking about now, the Rams coming back, they're getting a wide receiver core healthy. You got a Stafford. You still got Aaron Donald in that defense. You still got a big. That's a big. They're going to be a reckon if they stay healthy. They're going to be reckoned with over in the NFC. But this game, the San Francisco 49ers have not showed me a flaw all season. I
They
can't
haven't.
believe I can't believe that they're going to lose
They
this
really
game for
haven't.
any reason at all. They have not shown me a flaw at all. However, Dallas Cowboys have. They let
Yeah,
the Arizona Cardinals beat them.
they did
They
pretty
might
handily.
they hey, they might have not they might have tried to overlook the Cardinals. They're they got lackadaisical, but I feel like that's the same thing we're used to seeing from the Cowboys in the playoffs and the regular season. This is the same thing they see that we see over and over again from the Cowboys. They do bad against teams that they're not supposed to, and they do really good against teams that they should.
Yeah, and that's Dallas has always been that way. That's I don't know. They've always choked in big games. It seems like, and San Fran is just a team that they have all these weapons. Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel, George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and of course the best running back in the league, Christian
C
McCaffrey.
M
The
C.
dude is ridiculous. He can
Give him a
run,
round of
can
applause,
catch,
guys.
he can pass, he can do anything and everything better than anything in this league. It's insane on what he does, and it's awesome to watch how they play the game, man. I'm telling you. The
You
San
know what?
Francisco 49ers are going to the Super Bowl this year.
I was going
No
to say,
question.
barring any injuries or anything behind that team right there, the way Brock Purdy has stepped up his game and the shots he's been putting on target, back shoulder, pinpoint to these wide receivers you're talking about. CMC had 7 catches for 71. It's still hard to hit swing pass to a running back out of the backfield. That's hard to do over a lot of stuff going on around. That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not only put a back shoulder pass, timing catch in the end zone to your wide receiver, just only for them to catch and see. That's hard to do with 100 quarterback rating in these games, 105, 98,
He's
and
had a
he
great
doesn't.
year.
He
Still been
doesn't show
solid.
any flaws until I
Yeah.
see any flaws from that offense to that defense. I see in this offense, Brock Purdy in this offense do what they need to do. They're missing a big, Stephon Diggs out of the secondary with Dallas Cowboys. They're missing a
Oh,
big guy there.
Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon, my bad. I knew I had it wrong. That's why I paused. But Trayvon Diggs, they're missing him out of secondary with the Cowboys.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
could something like that could show its face in a game like this. Is all I'm saying.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
know, missing a guy like that. Dolphins showed that against the Buffalo Bills. Missing a guy like Jalen Ramsey. That's why they went and got him. There's a reason why they went and got him. Missing a guy like that in the secondary. You saw what you need to cover up in the next game.
No, I mean I agree with that one. And I don't know how they're going to do well with Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. I don't know how
Yeah.
they're going to match up very well.
And
But
CMC
Micah
coming out of the
Parsons-
backfield.
Micah Parsons is a deadly guy. He's another defensive end who we're talking about who's just insane on how he does. So they may
Gonna
have
test that
a little
offensive
bit of a
line.
thing, so we'll see how
Yep.
it goes. Maybe
They're
Brock
gonna
Purdy
test
gets
that
choked up a
offensive
little bit.
line.
We'll see how it works.
They are definitely going to test that offensive line. They're really going to do that, and I hope they do. That's what it's going to take to beat the 49ers. They're going to have to get pressure up the middle, on the outside, any way they can. They're going to have to get pressure,
No, I agree.
and
with that. They're
it, and
gonna
it,
have to put pressure
and
on
it
them.
can't be with the blitzes. There's got to be that front four getting that pressure. It's
Yeah.
got to be that front four.
No, I agree with that. So we talked about the NFL a little bit. So do you want to have anything else we want to throw at the NFL real fast before we topic?
No, because tomorrow's game's not really that important to me. Monday
Yeah,
night.
it's, it's not really.
It's really not. But
It's Green
you
Bay.
watch. I didn't get to watch any MLB playoffs, okay, because I was up in Legoland all weekend. I did watch a little bit of college football. Obviously, I
Listen,
watched some NFL today.
We gotta
But
talk about this stuff.
but
Major
there's
League
two
Baseball,
things.
First round buys.
Yeah.
How 3 out of the 4 teams that had a first round bye lost game 1. The
Yeah.
only one that won was the Houston Astros. That was it.
And Houston's
Everybody
got a rep
else
for the
lost their
playoffs
game.
now.
I'm telling you, man. Baltimore Orioles lost their game. They're actually down 0-2 because they lost tonight as well. They lost 11-8 to the Rangers. So the Rangers are up 2-0 on that game. But,
The Rangers
Twins
are hot.
lost.
Rangers are hot coming into
Rangers
the
are hot.
playoffs.
You know.
And I
Same
do
thing about
believe
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's
We'll
hot.
talk
I
about
do
it.
believe that weighs a lot, and you were right. We talked about that, and you said the team that catches fire going into the playoffs, we got to
That's the
watch them.
scariest team.
Texas is one team that was hot, and the Philadelphia Phillies were another team that was hot coming into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that, and the Diamondbacks, man, huge win over the
They were
Dodgers
hot.
and Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, they were hot
Clayton
too.
Kershaw got massacred in the first inning, dude. I mean, they put up like I think 5 or 6 runs in the first inning against them.
Yep,
It was
yep.
it was like, wow, what happened
If
to
you re-
Clayton Kershaw?
If you remember right, in Thursday's PITA round, then I talked about these Diamondbacks being hot and what they were
did.
doing coming
did,
into
you
these
did.
playoffs. So, hey, we're talking about this, and we're talking about the first round bye. Yeah, we're obviously saying that first round bye does stifle your momentum. It really does. It stifles that momentum, and coming into the playoffs is a big freaking deal. So, with that said, right now, Marshentime, who do you see in the World Series, AL,
Ooh.
NL?
Man, right now you're killing
Right
me.
now.
You're throwing me right on the. Wow, you're throwing me into something here. I'm looking at Rangers. I'm looking at, the Astros.
Astro. Now
think
let me throw some things out there. Let me scare you and shake you up a little bit. Let me make you overthink this a little bit. Look what the Astros done in the last 3 years in the playoffs.
That, they've
Look what they've done. Now the Texas Rangers are coming in hot with the arguably the best pitching staff.
Yeah, yeah, you're making this more difficult, man. You're making me double think about this. But I'm
Okay.
gonna go. I'm gonna. God, I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna go with the Rangers, and
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Phillies in the World Series. Philadelphia wins in 6 games.
Ooh. Ooh. You're taking Philly to get another one, huh?
I'm telling you, man. I like the way they're playing.
I
But
can't disagree with you, and I think momentum's a big deal. With the Texas having the pitching rotation they have, being on fire, hitting the home runs they're hitting since August, they're ranked number 2 in the MLB, along with Philly and Astros, or
hmm
not the Astros, but the Braves. They hit the long ball well. Their starting pitching is really good. I agree with you. Going into the National League, I like the Diamondbacks. I just think they have the momentum coming in, doing what they're doing. I like the back end of their bullpen. They got some veterans, as I mentioned before, Evan Longoria, and they have some rookies. When you have veterans with rookies like that, they're putting something special together with the front and back end, that bullpen. I like the Diamondbacks to surprise a lot of people in the National League this year.
okay, okay. You know what? I can see it, man. They're looking good. They won their first game like 11-2. They put up 6 runs on Clayton Kershaw, and he only got one out
Yeah.
before they pulled him.
I, yeah,
They pulled
that's a
him
big deal. That's a big deal.
that
And
quick.
Clayton
That's
Kershaw,
crazy.
he hasn't shown any signs of this before. He has not got
No.
rocked like this all season. And if he did, it was because he had an ADL, and it was not this year. Clayton Kershaw's been there all year. He's what he's doing. He might be tired. Yeah, they put him out there against a
Maybe,
team
maybe.
that is on fire. They got a lot of young guys. They got a lot of veterans, like I said, and they just pummeled him. That's what happened. This
Yeah,
guy's no
humbled is the
slouch.
correct word, too. Humbled is the correct word
They
for it.
shelled him. Yeah, they absolutely shelled him. Hey, so before we sign off here, and like I
All
said,
right, all
I
right.
didn't get to watch a whole lot of anything, but I got you watching the WNBA finals.
You
What
did. You
happened with the
got me
Las
watching this,
Vegas
man.
and New York? Asia Wilson? Did she do her thing?
Yeah, yeah. I guess you could call it that. I guess you could call it that. I mean, but she really didn't go off as much as other people did. They had three guys, people over 20.
Mhm.
The Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and
Chelsea Gray's
I think
really good.
Jackie was the other one that did it. They all put over 20 points.
Both ex
Asa Wilson only put
MVPs.
up 19 points, man. I'm just saying.
How
But
many
she
boards
did
she
her
have though?
thing.
Yeah, she
I
gives a
think
lot
she
of
had
boards and
7 or 8.
assists too.
I think she had 7 or 8. But they won 99-82. They dominated pretty much the whole game except for the first. The first half they were close on, but in the second half they took over. It was insane, and they absolutely took over. I
And
mean,
now
and Brianna
the
Stewart still for New York.
I was going to say, yeah,
She's cool to watch. She does some
yeah,
cool
she's
plays, man. I'm
fun.
telling you, she can hit some. She can hit
That's
some
your reigning
shots.
MVP. The WNBA, that's your reigning MVP is Brianna Stewart. And that's why I thought Asia Wilson was going to be hot when she came out in this game to open the series because she should have rightfully had the MVP also. It could have gone either way. Both
Yeah.
teams are stacked, but Brianna Stewart did her thing. And one big thing I wanted to point out to you Brianna Stewart and her time and the WNBA, and the New York Liberty's never gotten a WNBA championship. Las Vegas, and no team has ever back to back in the
Yeah. I mean, it's
WNBA.
history no matter
Las
what.
Vegas. What but Brianna Stewart, you know how many times she's lost any championship throughout her career? I'm talking about high school,
That's
college,
true. College and everything.
WNBA.
I don't think she's ever
She's never
lost one.
lost. She's never lost one. She's reigning MVP. So this makes this whole series so much more enticing to watch. And I'm disappointed I missed that first game. I really am.
It's only game one though. You got plenty to come back, man. So don't worry. It'll be
I
more
do.
exciting for the next game now, City. So you'll be fine. Just be ready for the next game because I'm sure we'll have to talk about it on Thursday. You know what I mean?
We'll have to talk about what. Give us the score update real quick. San Francisco
Still
and
7-0, still
and
7-0. San Fran's
Dow,
moving the ball like always. But
okay, Dallas haven't
Dallas is
shown any
struggling to
signs
move a
of.
little bit. Yeah, Dallas struggling to
Yeah,
move the ball a little bit.
San Fran putting that pressure on them.
Of
Okay,
course,
so
man. Of
anything
course.
else you wanna hit
Listen,
there
man.
on your board? On your board behind you, you got a
I
calamity of a
I
lot of
think
things
I
going
think we
on
got a
back
lot
there.
of them all taken up, man.
Is there
Yeah,
anything
we
we
got them
did
all.
not pinpoint on that?
Listen, no, everything on the board has been covered. It's kind of we did pretty good on that one. But I do want to throw in a little bit of something. I know you're not, you didn't watch any of it, but the Game Changers for Valorant is on. The ladies are taking over Valorant right now, and it's kind of fun to watch. Um,
Oh yeah.
V1 has come in and destroyed every team possible, and they've made this run where they haven't lost a single game. And the team that's competing in the grand finals against them is the same team that won Masters. I'm just saying the world championships here.
Evil
Is evil geniuses, man.
geniuses.
They're
Yep.
coming in and they won their first two maps. They're coming in. They lost the third map to V1 right now, but they're up 2-1 still. I'm excited though. I'm excited watching this. Evil geniuses really came up. Nobody really talked about them, so I'm kind of excited. Again, they seem to be the underdogs. Always they always seem to come through and
Always.
win.
Oh,
I love
hey,
watching this.
Marshentime. I love the and they're a North American team, right?
Yes, both teams are North American. This is a North American one. They're
They're
trying to get
they're
in.
not.
So
That makes it just that much more cooler. So we knew as a North American team going into the big Valorant tournament this last year. But with the females taking over with Evil Gene, that does not surprise me that they have a really good squad. They're
of
playing
course,
well. They're up right now 2-1 in the first three maps.
of course, and it's exciting. I mean, it's the grand final, so I'm seeing if they're gonna take it off. Maybe go, become the women's championship too. That'd be kind of crazy. Having the guys and the girls is kind of cool.
So anything else you thinking about, Mark? Anything else we need to update our community on?
Listen, man. Fishing. I wish we could talk more about fishing. I mean, there's not much going on really in fishing. Um, there was a little tournament out of Okeechobee today, and I wanted to go out and go fishing, but man, it's just I had so much stuff to do, and we got to go out and go hit the water, man. I'm telling you, we're gonna do one
I
of these
haven't.
podcasts on the water for these guys.
I'm trying to tell you, we really need to go do a Facebook Live or something on the water, and get on a few fish and really have some fun. I haven't been out on the water in a long time, Marshentime, so I really don't know what I'm talking about at this point. I don't know go north, south, east, or west. Out on this lake, man. It's just been basically that time of year
I'm
trying
telling you,
to
man. Hey, the weather's starting to cool down a little bit though. I
oh
heard a
yeah.
couple people catching some fish again, so I'm kind of I'm getting that
That's
itch,
what I'm waiting
so
on.
I'm getting that
I'm a
itch.
fair
So
weather fisherman nowadays, man. I don't like to go fishing in all that hot weather,
yeah,
that really cold. It's got to be just right for me to go out
yeah,
there and
yeah.
fish.
It's getting a little cooler though now, so it's starting to come in. I mean, I'm getting that itch a little bit more. I walked out today, I'm
it,
like, oh
it
man, I'm
is.
not instantly sweating. I can do this.
Yeah, you and I. Hey, once that temperature drops, you and I's gonna have to go crack a couple of cold ones, go catch some crappie out on the river, man. We're
Yeah,
gonna have to
man,
do
definitely.
that
We'll have to do the podcast right there, right then with everybody.
right
We'll
there.
talk.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
have some
get you
fun
some
with it.
glow in the tip rods going on, man. You
Yeah.
guys can watch what's going on. That like they do on the big river monsters. But
Exactly.
uh, other than that, I haven't been fishing in a long time, Marshall time. I really actually need to go. I know Masters and MLF is going up again here real soon, so we need to get back on top of that and give the whole scoop down here in South Florida.
Of course. I mean, as soon as it starts getting, man, I'm always ready to get some scoops on that. I definitely need to hit some fishing spots and get some.
I need to get a good fish fry going. I really want a good fish fry.
Yeah,
I mean,
hey,
it's
I'm
been a
always
long
down
time
for
since
that.
yeah, and some beer batteries. It's been a long time since I've had
Yeah,
that.
man. Hey, like I said, we're excited, so I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. So it's cooled down now, buddy. Let's do it. Catch us some fish and do some fish fry. Well, man, we'll do it all right then and there. Make
So,
sure you guys stay tuned for it. We'll let you guys know the date and everything we're going to do it.
and the last thing I want to throw in here before we sign off here, Marshentime, as far as James Harden, Philadelphia Phillies go, James Harden showed up to their mini camps
He did.
and their practices. He showed up. He's not being a distraction, not for the better half. He's just there, but he still wants his trade. Any thoughts on
does.
that? What do you think that's just going on there?
Listen, I think he's taking the high road on that part at least. You know, I'm kind of happy he's doing that.
That's pretty cool, huh?
It's kind of nice to see that he's doing that, and I hope that he stays that way, and we'll see where he goes because I think he's going to end up getting traded. I don't know where. They're talking about Miami's looking into him again.
Yep.
But I'm not getting my hopes up on that one. We'll just wait to see what happens for that.
Not after that D. Lilly fiasco, huh?
Yeah, that one kind of still hurts a little bit. Still kind of stings a little bit. So we're not going to talk about that too much.
I know. Look at Jimmy Butler. He done changed his hairstyle and everything,
I'm
man. It's
telling
kind
you,
of
man,
creepy.
it's really crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy there, dude.
That's true. That's true. He did.
I know it's Halloween and all, man, but I mean, golly,
Yeah,
Damian
keep
Lillard,
it
you got to call that man,
normal,
apologize to him, would you?
Yeah, man, make him feel better at least. Jeez.
Gee,
Make the guy
hey,
going crazy a little bit.
I mean, he's losing his marbles over there.
I'm telling you, man.
Hey, speaking of marbles, what do you think about the Phillies reference when they hit that double and he used that gesture from Major League back to the minors where he did the gesture where you got no marbles. Remember?
Oh,
Soriano?
yeah. Hey, man, I'm all
So,
for it. I love
the
that
Phillies,
movie.
they were replicating that throughout that game, and when they made that comeback and they won that game, that was pretty cool to watch. That took me back.
You gotta get down there and start doing it, though, man. You gotta show us what the play was there. You gotta show us what he did.
Right? Hey, do you think Bryce Harper was the igniter behind that? I think he was. I think
probably.
I think he's the character in the clubhouse.
He's like that stuff. Yeah, he's kind of into that stuff.
Exactly, right?
He's always been that way. Which is kind of fun. Hey, man,
I would fully expect that.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, they also. What was it? It was and I don't want to get it wrong, but it was a good luck charm. It was some kind of good luck charm. The Phillies were trying to get an alligator. It was like a 70-pound alligator into the stadium or something like that. Yeah, because it was some kind of safe holding for them, a good luck charm like that, and they got denied. It was funny.
Hey, you gotta have what you gotta do. What you gotta do, right?
hey, that joke was fun. It was hilarious. All right, Marshentime, let's wrap this up. Let's get out of here until Thursday night, man.
Yeah,
until Thursday night. Let's get off here. Let's watch the Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers play their Sunday night football. Until then, that's Marshentime. I'm Donnie Mac. This was 863 Sports Buzz Podcast. Meet us again here on Thursday night live for 30 minutes. We'll talk the same real stuff, up-to-date stuff. Until then,